It's hard to imagine a love that's willing to suffer, even though when friends are about to betray you because they're flawed human beings. The beauty of this story was he didn't give up on any of them. Even after his death and resurrection, Peter heard the story of the resurrection and said, I'm not worthy to even see him. Jesus loved him anyway. What informs your life? Paul Tillich, the great theologian whose picture was once on Time magazine, said, that which ultimately concerns us is God. What is your ultimate concern? What drives you to do the right thing? What is it that you will do, that you will pay the price to keep on task with the goal that is ahead of you? Jesus was driven by showing the world that there is a different way to live, a way of compassion and a way of forgiveness, and it was not important that he even lost his own life. And that's been true with all great spiritual leaders. Gandhi, and it was true with Martin Luther King and Bobby Kennedy, and the list goes on. Willing to do the right thing, having a purpose. Viktor Frankl, who survived Auschwitz, said, one has to transcend the immediate circumstance and have a reason to live. That's how he survived the concentration camp. He had to think, and what kept him particularly was the love that he had for his wife, and he was separated from her. He didn't know in the camp whether she were dead or alive, but it was his love for his wife that kept him going and surviving. Willingness to suffer the most inhumane, undescribable kinds of human conditions that Frankl went through because he loved. He found purpose in his life. And he says in his great book, in order to get out beyond ourselves, we've got to transcend. He's called it self-transcendent. In other words, as Sue Bolton sometimes says, I have to get out of my own way. Sometimes we have to get off the pity pot. The Naomi syndrome, for those of you who are in Bible study with me, who, I'm bitter, life is miserable, woe is me. No, there comes a time when we identify that for which we are living. Jesus had a purpose with his life, and he understood it. Do you know what your purpose is in life? And do you understand it? And are you willing to do it even at the price of betrayal? Are you willing to do it because of love? I sometimes tell the teachers that I teach in my courses that it requires love to teach, to really teach. It requires our attention, and our attention requires love. We only attend to that which we are concerned with. We only attend to that which we love. What do you really love? Is there a bigger picture in your life? What is it? Viktor Frankl said, first, we need to pick a work, or find the work, rather, that picks us. Why do I do what I do? It's because I feel it's my work. It's not a job, it's a vocation. And because of the vocation, because of the sense that I'm supposed to teach teachers and make a difference by teaching them in such a way that they will make a difference in their classroom in spite of all of the things that are going on with the feds and the state and all of the problems in education, there's got to be a hope. We've got to renew ourselves, and I feel committed to that, helping them. We got people who are my students who are watching this sermon this morning when it goes up on YouTube. And some of them want to come here and stay a while just because they like Stonington and they want to come visit the church. I don't know where we're going to put everybody if they all show up this summer. But the truth is, We have to have a purpose. And it has to transcend our own self-sense of just immediacy. Why do we live? If you have, and in fact Nietzsche said, if you have a why, you can endure anyhow. What is your purpose for living? The second thing Viktor Frankl said was that love keeps us going. It was a love that Viktor Frankl had for his wife, although he did not know or talk with her during this concentration camp, and in fact she ended up being killed. It was the love for his wife. And then thirdly, it was an understanding that suffering is inevitable. We live in a culture that's trying to avoid growing older. We live in a culture that fights signs of aging. So we go through all kinds of Hollywood contortions and tucks and nips and whatever to try to deny the inevitable. I'm saying to you this morning, there is a purpose for your life. Jesus had a purpose for his. And it's one thing to get in, and we could dispute what is his purpose, what was his purpose. There are all kinds of churches that are going to try to narrow it down. What was his purpose? One thing I know about his purpose was that he understood it, but it wasn't clear to him even until he got into the Garden of Gethsemane. And he said, if it's possible, let this cup pass from me, but if it's not possible, your will be done. So we have to, in Jesus' model, find what is our calling. Who do we love? And are we willing to suffer to get the job done? I pray that this Passion Week that we will closely understand the word passion, not as some free kind of easy love, but a love that hangs in there. And a love that is big enough to forgive when our friends betray us and make mistakes. A love that says, I'm going through. I'm going to make it happen. I have a purpose, and I love it, and I'm going to get through it no matter what the cost. I don't know what your calling is. It could be art, it could be music, it could be poetry, it could be dance, it could be religion, it could be something. It could be tending to your children or grandchildren or great-grandchildren, but give yourself to a purpose and love it, and you'll be able to get it through anything. And weeping endures for a night. The dark night of Gethsemane and Good Friday were dark in Jesus' life, but there's always Easter Sunday morning in our lives. Amen.